Okay, whilst everyone is here online so far, I will bring up the QR code for everyone to use. I'll also bring up the QR code link and put it in the chat as well. And Mark, I do believe, what was the code for tonight? Sorry, mate. Obviously popped off. Mark, what was the code word tonight, mate? You're not muted. You're muted, mate.
We'll go with management since you have muted us all.
I did not. Did no such thing. Tonight's code word is management, and we'll put it in the chat as well. Okay, just a reminder before we jump into it as well, please just scan the QR code and keep your mics on mute too. If you have any questions through this session, just chuck it in the chat and one of us will be able to answer you throughout. This one's a quick session tonight, guys, for the third session. It should be roughly about 30, 45 minutes. So we're able to give the rest of your Monday evening to use. I know we've had a busy couple of weeks back in the office ourselves, so I can assume everyone else that's either back full-time working too is the same, as well as I do believe all the school kids possibly go back to school next week. So they got their last week of school holidays before the dreaded next term starts. I'll just give it another minute just for the just for this QR code, and then we'll get into it as well. Okay, I'll jump straight into it, guys. So we're going to go through game management, and just a heads up, we do have some videos that will be coming up through the session. I'll make sure the link to the YouTube video clip gets put in the chat as well, so you guys can click on it and watch the video, just so it's not so laggy. But for those of you that can't click on the video too, you will just have to use the video that's on the screen. And yes, it possibly is going to be laggy. But if you feel like it is getting laggy, please note you can turn off your camera on your end, which should assist in making the video go a bit quicker too. So what we're going to go through is we're going to go through what is game management, and we have some key focus areas. And the two focus areas we're going to have there are dealing with the technical areas as well as dealing with mass confrontation. So game management, match control. Okay, we've got football understanding, so competitions, team tactics, and the atmosphere. Each competition is different. You're going to find competitions that are going to be more physical based and more tactical based in football. You know, a junior under 13s match is very much going to be different to that of a junior under 18s, or even a FQPL 6 match is going to be very much different to that of an MPL match too. Clear priorities. When you have your match control, you're there as the referee. You're setting the standards. Okay, what are your priorities in the match? your restart procedures. So you got to be on top of the game with restart procedures there. If we had about 20 minutes, we could possibly go through the Brisbane Roar game from a few game rounds ago, as some of you may be aware of those tactics before that round ages ago. Use your personality, be yourself. Okay, we're not robots. As referees, we aren't robots. And what we generally coach to is we don't want you to be robots out in the field. Okay, use your personality. Okay, if you're fun and charismatic off the field too, we possibly want to see that on the field, and you're talking to players, having fun on the field as well, having a laugh. Okay, we don't want to be over assertive. Correct use of tools. So your signals, your verbal warning, whistle, cards, and your flag technique for the assistant referees. We have player management. We want to make sure we're respecting the players. Okay, respect is earned, it isn't given. Respect is key too. Your body language, we want to make sure we're standing tall. Our signals are tall. Our signals are precise. We're looking the part. Difference between looking like you want to be there and being there for the sake of being there. Communication. If a player asks you a question, it's okay to give an answer to, rather than just saying, I'm not giving you an answer and walking away. Communicate to the player why you've made that decision. It's quick and short. It's not a long-winded story as to why you've made that decision. It's a quick, short response, and you're giving that player a quick response to get on with the game too. Prevention. If you notice players are winding up a bit or getting a bit aggressive, let's get on it straight away. Let's talk to the players. Let's make sure we're calming the situation down too, because if we don't prevent, it could lead to something worse. Dissent and confrontation. Any dissent towards the referee, make sure we're dealing with it. Make sure it is being dealt with, as well as dissent. When we're talking dissent towards players, and when players are swearing amongst each other, or it can be misconstrued between banter and also other chat throughout the game. We want to be able to distinguish it and make sure the players are sticking to the game. We want to officiate a beautiful game. We don't want to see silly little off the ball incidences because somebody's decided to say a silly little thing on the side on the run and someone's reacted to it. Unsporting behavior. And the last one there is we want fair play, which all links together there, that fair play. We want to enjoy the game that we're officiating. So in the laws of the game, we've got our technical area section. Just a quick reminder, I'm not going to go through everything that's on there. Otherwise it'd be very boring for everyone tonight. I think a lot of the videos go through a lot of this as well, but this is in your laws of the game on IFAB website that you guys can go through too at a later date. But guys, ultimately, anyone that's on the team sheet or within the technical area, they can be cautioned and they can be sent off. The only person that's exempt to that being sent off and out of the technical area would be the physio. Okay, the physio can receive a red card and still stay in there. That is the only one that is exempt from that. But have a little read of that there on the screen too. You can take a photo just if you guys want to remind it, but it is on the IFAB website for you guys to go through at a later date too. So I got the videos, and before I get into these videos, what I said I'll do is I'll put them in the chat first, just so you guys can have access to them. And when I go through video 1, I'll make sure it says clip 1 for you too. When I go through clip 1, you guys can click on clip 1, and you can go through it as well. So I'll just put all 4 of those in there, and I'll make sure they're all labeled correctly. Just bear with me very quickly. And clip 3, just to give everyone here a heads up, clip 3 has 2 video clips in it. So clip 3 has 2 lots of video clips because they are 2 separate incidences. So please make sure, I'll make sure to say this is clip 1 of clip 3, and then I'll also have the next clip ready available for you too. Sorry about the delay here, and I'll send that in the chat. Oh, here we go. I will drag these across to here. So we can go through those. There should be sound with it. If not, might just quickly check the options. But the sound should be working on there as well. Okay, I'll play that one again. So obviously we have the two coaches asking a question. And the assistant referee is getting involved. Okay. Calming down the coaches, trying to make sure we're keeping the situation under control. The assistant referee is doing a fantastic job communicating well to the coaches. There. And as we can see, the coaches don't overreact. We've got a quick explanation to the situation, and we're able to continue on with the game. Apologies for the interruption. Adam, I can see you on the screen, mate. Can you give me a thumbs up if the sound worked, mate? Just because there's been a couple saying that the sound didn't work there. Did the sound work for you? Bit iffy?
I could hear noise, but not necessarily clear sound.
Yeah. So this one was a quiet one, I do believe. I'm just trying to see if there's any way around it. Sorry, guys, I'm just trying to check. It says it should be working. That's definitely odd. Okay. Apologies, it does say it should be working on there. Okay, I'll go to video clip number 2. Apologies, team. So I'll break down the situation, or the situation we're viewing here too. So I'll go back to the start. So we have what is believed to be a foul by the defensive team. And of course, the Redlands team is on the attack and on the break, and Gold Coast Knights hold the player up. So they hold the opponent, which of course is a yellow card offense. The main area here, if we're talking about the technical area, and I'm gonna, in this situation here, we've got for the MPL level here, we have a fourth official. So our fourth official is dealing with the technical area as well as watching what's going on behind play. But prior to this situation occurring, we also have about 5 people within the technical area standing on their feet very loudly, jumping up and down. So for us there, identify the situation as well as watching the game. Identify the situation, go in and calm the situation down, deal with the coaches, deal with the players, deal with the coaches. The players on this side over here, okay, if, for example, we don't have a fourth official on the game, it's good as an assistant referee, as the assistant referee one, to have a quick discussion with the benches before the game occurs to let them know that if you're warming up, that's the only time we want our players that are in the technical area, our substitutes, warming up. We've got one sitting on the fence, another one leaning on the fence, and we've got 3 more deciding whether or not to go and do a warm-up. We'll probably go to the fence and do a couple of leg swings to make it look like they're warming up again too. But in that situation there, we've got to be aware of what's going on. The next stoppage of play, if the ball goes out, have a quick chat with the players, get them to sit back down, and we're preventing a situation from occurring. Because if we watch the situation again, about a possible foul, we've got the whole bench blowing up, all the players are blowing up, and we've got the coaches going off. We're dealing with a yellow card in front of the bench too. The fourth official's done a really good job talking to the players straight away, telling them to get back. But ideally, we want them to go and be sitting down if they're not warming up and having a chat with them. It's really important. That's the prevention side of it. Having a chat, making sure the only person that's standing up is really going to be the coach. And on a couple of occasions, you're going to get a couple of overexcited coaches. Maybe the attacking coach gets up, wants to have a quick chat, get him to go and sit back down too. But it's about preventing something that is occurring, especially if we've got fouls occurring in front of the technical area. If we've got fouls occurring in front of the technical area, things are going to happen. Coaches are going to get close to the field. They're going to react. Players are going to react. Okay. And we want to be able to prevent that situation from occurring. So I'll move on to video clip number 3. Again, focusing on technical area. Okay, so obviously the camera's panned off here. So in this situation here, I'll just pause it here for everyone. So the referee is on the left-hand side of the screen. The center of the field, he's also looking towards the coach who is yelling. And he's yelled a couple of times already in regards to the late tackle that's just occurred too. Asking for the referee to give a yellow card. In these situations here, if we can identify something's occurred, let's identify and speak to the coach. Okay, let's prevent something from occurring. Because if we're preventing something here in the 16th minute, then in the 2 minutes later, when we have another foul for that team, we're having to deal with a situation. Remember the 3 steps. As a referee, we've got to think about the 3 steps. We've got to think about the technical area. We've got ask, we've got tell, and the third one there is we've got remove. So the first instance here, Jack, who's the referee, can hear the coach after the foul, is asking the coach to stop. In fact, he's asking the assistant coach to go back within the technical area and having the coach asking him, that's enough, I'm dealing with the situation. The coach doesn't want to listen. He's still going on. The ask isn't working, so now we're telling. And the telling part is we're using the caution, dealing with the situation. He's not listening. We deal with it. It's good to note as well, I'll put a positive, all the substitutes are seated down within the technical area. I'm just trying to get to a point where you can see all the substitutes. Just at this angle here, we've got our substitutes that are sitting down. Don't be fooled by this player here, as he is still on the field of play. It's just on the line at that point in time. We've got our subs that are sitting down here, which is great. But we've still got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've still got 5 of our coaching staff still standing. So if we don't, again, in this situation here, we don't have the 4th official. We've got our assistant referee 1, or if the referee in this situation, let's make sure we've got those guys taking a seat. There should only be 1 person standing. Preventative is the key here too, being preventative. All right. So key messages with the technical area. You want to access control. So only those authorized should be in the technical area. So please, and I know we've had a few issues with the system in the last couple of seasons, but everything should be working within the team sheet end. Okay. Only those that are on the technical area list on your squaddy account or on the team sheet for the game are to be in the technical area, and limit standing to one person giving instructions at a time. One person giving instructions at a time. Maintain control, stay calm, avoid long conversations with coaches. Just like Jack did in that previous video, we went in, we dealt with the coach didn't want to listen to the ask, so then we tell, and then once that occurred, it was quick and simple, and we backed off and you get on with the game. You don't want to engage in arguments. If a coach doesn't want to listen, there's a simple answer. It's a yellow card, and they act pretty quickly after the yellow card comes out, and they quieten up real quick. Set expectations early. Poor behavior in the technical area can affect the field, so address it promptly to set the standards. Address that poor behavior promptly. So if you notice something within the technical area as an assistant referee, please make sure you're voicing it, okay? As well as if you're the referee within that area, have a chat to that technical area too. Firmness with the coaches, but you want to be respectful but firm if coaches overstep. Issue yellow or red cards as necessary. All right, remember the 3 steps: ask, tell, and remove. If your game or your match has a fourth officials play a critical role in controlling the bench area and monitoring behavior. They don't just stand there at the halfway line with their arms folded and not dealing with anything. It's about communicating to the coaches. Coaches are going to want to talk to someone. They're going to want to talk, especially if you're a fourth official. Go have a chat, calm the situation, prevent it from blowing up into something more. Have a quick chat, get on with the game. Also deal with players that are warming up. If you notice teams start warming up, have a look at who's warming up. Are they taking their time? Are they not? If they're finished, let's get them back into the technical area and seated correctly. Or also making sure they're wearing bibs or something that's different to the colors on the field. Use your personality. You want to stay calm, confident, and assertive, but don't tolerate abuse from coaches. Focus on both field and bench. Monitor both the field and the bench area, including substitutes. The coach's responsibility. The head coach is responsible for the behavior of the technical area. If an offender cannot be identified, the coach should be cautioned. So if you're dealing with a situation and no one wants to step forward or be identified, the coach does cop the sanction there. Support from your assistants. Experienced assistants can help manage the bench area. And we say experienced assistants there because we're not wanting anyone to go poking the bear or jump in the fire for these situations too early. We want to be calm and assertive, as well as support the referee that's in the middle too. And for those that are refereeing as well, and you'll notice your assistant referee is possibly struggling a bit, there's no harm in you also stepping in and having a chat with the coach in those situations too. Clear dissent action. Deal directly with dissent by issuing yellow cards. Do not go to the bench just to give a warning. Okay, if we're going there more than once, verbal warnings just start to not have an effect. All right, I'm just going to get the next 2 videos up. These ones are covering mass confrontation. So we got video clip 1.
Brad, are we supposed to be seeing as you're talking this on screen, or are we supposed to go to a link to these clips?
So you can watch on the screen, or you can click on the links whilst I'm talking too. The teams should stay open. If it isn't, I'd probably just stay focusing on the screen.
Well, I'm not getting it on the screen. That's the issue that I've got then, I guess, because I've got to go to the link to see any of these clips. I don't know if I'm not doing something on my end or if it's something from there. I'm just seeing a lot of the heads that are in the meeting.
What I'll do is I'll close and I'll reshare my screen in case it could be something that's occurred.
Reshare, Brad, see if that's the issue with the videos.
Yeah, that's better.
There we go. Yeah, we probably just need to refresh it on my end. It's all good. Okay, so this is the video clip, the first one with mass confrontation. Okay, a lot to digest in this scenario here as well. Okay, but I'll replay it from the start, where we have an off the ball incident occurring just in this situation here. So as the referee, we want to make sure we're not restarting the play. We want to deal with the situation. So deal with the situation here. We're stopping the game. We're going to have a chat with the player as well as the coach. As the assistant referee one here, okay, the assistant referee one is quick in there to deal with the situation. However, it's probably important to note if the referee's dealing with it, let's get into position as the assistant referee one, just to make sure we've got eyes on the pitch. We want the referee to deal with this situation here too. Let's make sure our assistant referee is also back in position before we continue on with the game too. If a coach isn't listening as well as this coach is here, if a coach isn't listening as the assistant referee, then the next step is the referee needs to get involved too. The referee gets involved, issues a yellow card. The next thing is the assistant referee here probably should have gone back into position along the line, or probably should have been started in the position as well. So we had eyes on the pitch. Once we have eyes off the pitch, dealing with the said coach, a situation has occurred off the ball, just to the right of the screen, which has been missed by the officials. Everyone getting involved. Guys, key to note here, if the whistle isn't working, okay, as it did so here, if the whistle's not working, let's stop blowing the whistle. Stop blowing the whistle. It clearly isn't working with the players. Take a step back, and you're just going to have to take in everything that occurs and make note of what player, who's done what in the situation, and make sure at the end of it, you as a team get back together. So it's good the assistant referee too comes over. Make sure you come back together and you can deal with the right sanctions. It's really important to note as well, in this area of the field, anything that occurs in front or around the technical area, okay, it's going to be more amped up. We've got coaches, we've got excited coaches, we've got excited players near the bench. Of course, everyone's going to come running into a situation, especially if a mass confrontation suddenly gets involved. As a referee, we don't really want to be running into the middle of a situation. We don't want to be running into the middle of a situation to try and break it up. Usually these things can separate really quickly. As you can see, the coaches come on and lower the situation's needs, separate the players. And we don't start the game again until, as the referees, and I'll just fast forward here. As the referees, they come together and they discuss the situation, but all eyes need to be on the field. I wouldn't probably do it in front of the technical area. I'd probably find an area, possibly even near the halfway line on the field of play, to take in the situation. But making sure you got an eye on the players and the rest of the field too. I'll start the next video.
It's going to save him from a yellow card. The initial play was really nice. And that wasn't a yellow card. He actually, at the end, he stubbed it down. I think he was half pulled out of it as well. It was more the case of
we see in this situation here, the assistant referees come onto the field of play. to get a better angle of view of the situation. We can see the situations quickly dissolves as soon as the players have their little push and shove. The referees form a nice triangle to de-escalate the situation. We're also not standing, the referee isn't standing there blowing his whistle over and over again to try and dissolve the situation too. Once the situation is finished, we make sure the medic comes on or the physio comes on to deal with the player. And the official calls over the offender to make sure they're dealt with the correct sanction.
Brad, can we please have this link in chat?
Yep.
Thank you.
And I'll start this one again, just so we can. Notice how the ref blows the whistle a couple of times, gets close to the situation. Notices he needs to step back to get a better picture. He's in a great position to see it too. The player knows what they've done wrong. This is just from the other angle. Quick goes in, blows his whistle, notices a push and shove, takes a step back as assistant referee team comes in to form the triangle to get a better view to make sure we can get all the offenders. Nothing really eventuates from it or occurs, just a couple of push and shoves from a couple of players, nothing too serious. The ref's also talking to the players there, making sure it's being dealt with. Most likely, he's letting the players know the player's getting cautioned. He's getting cautions. We got the player's number. He's getting a card. He's getting a card, which de-escalates the situation and lets everyone know the player's getting a sanction. The most important thing here, if we've got an injury that occurs too, once that's all happened, we need to bring on that physio. Okay, before we even give that sanction out, and once everything's de-escalated, let's bring on that physio. Let's make sure this injured player here is dealt with immediately. Especially now that that opposing player is receiving the yellow card, this player here can stay on the field too once the physio has dealt with them. So rather than bring the player all the way into a situation where we've got a lot of the opposing team, okay, the official then lets the player know that's your yellow card, holds up the yellow card, points to the player that receives the yellow card, as well as the player who instigated the mass confrontation. Alrighty, I'll just get my PowerPoint back up. So the process for dealing with it. So the referee walks in with a purpose, but doesn't rush in to get in the middle or try to break it up. So comparative to the other video that we had, they didn't rush into the situation and try and break the players up. They went in a little bit, got a better picture and took a step back. The assistant referees then react quickly and run on to observe the mass confrontation. The referee only uses his whistle once and then takes it out of his mouth and uses his voice talking to the players. As you can see, the officials then make a triangle. So they're taking note of who the instigators are. Is there any violent conduct? We notice there's a Brisbane Roar player hanging over here. They're just checking on the player, though. There's nothing too serious. Okay, is anyone doing anything silly in there? Once you start seeing something that you know needs to be sanctioned, start talking to yourself. Use your voice. Even start talking to yourself or putting it in your head too. Okay, we got red 13 or orange 13, orange 13. And if you guys meet together and you go orange 13, it's going to be a yellow card for XYZ. You guys are able to discuss it as a group before going through the next stages. In this situation here, okay, this team here has comms, but I bring yourselves together, be a bit closer to discuss. This is the time to discuss with your team, the players that will be sanctioned. At this time, in this situation here, the ref is speaking with his ARs and also the VAR when they're using their comms. So yellow card is given to both teams. So we have that balance there, one for the foul and one for the instigator of the mass confrontation that wasn't required ultimately, because they've instigated something that didn't need to occur. So we need to make sure we're giving a yellow card for that reckless challenge and a yellow card for reckless challenge, a yellow card for the instigator. So this can be done together or separately. Okay, this is good that it's done separately here. Okay, depending on the temperature of the game.
Locking the car. Got to do the unlock and then lock. I did that. I tried to.
Alrighty. So, like I said, it was going to be a quick session tonight, guys, around technical area, game management, technical area management, as well as mass confrontation management. If you guys have any questions, now's your time to voice it up here or chuck it in the chat as well, and we'll go through it. We've got Mark online as well to go through any questions if you guys have any too in regards to that. Okay, the first question that's popped up, I know obviously we've got some extreme weather coming up recently too, and I know we had some major storms over the weekend. Unfortunately, we can't predict the weather. Ultimately, we're unable to predict the weather. We can't go, oh, this predicted storm at 4 o'clock, but the game's at 4 o'clock. Sometimes the storm might not come through the football pitch or anything too. We can only make a call as a match official who is on the game. We can only make a call when we're at the match. When we're at the match, we can make a call on the game. And the only other people that can make a call are the football clubs. So if the football clubs are making a decision on a match to go ahead or not, they make the decision, but then they let competitions know, and competitions then put it through Squatty, which notifies you guys as the match officials. Unfortunately, that's the process. But just so you guys are aware, if you go to a venue as well for a match, and the game has to be called off there, you do get paid for the match too.
So Brad, we just let them know if the game hasn't started, you'll get 50% of the match fee. If the game has started, you'll get the full fee.
Yeah, correct, Paul.
Hi.
How do we access the fitness requirements for refs from week 1, and how do we get access to the slide presentation to review with colleagues? So just so everyone's aware, and I'll just get, because my screen is currently being shared, I'll just go to the Football Queensland page. Just like I showed in last week's video too, if you go to the Get Involved and you go to Referee Training and Calendars, you guys pop in here and you go to Training Videos. The first 2 sessions are now live on the Football Queensland website underneath these tabs. So you guys can watch these on here too. That is the first 2 sessions. There is a separate QR code for those that are on there as well, because it's your catch-up session. If you've already viewed it, you don't need to scan the QR code, but if you're catching up on something you've missed, scan the QR code just to make, just to let us know that you've watched it as well. So those 2 sessions are now live on the Football Queensland website. And then, of course, all the other calendar stuff too was on the other page. If you have any of the calendars in regards to fitness tests, timing in your region, they'll be on here too. The question for the Thunder and Lightning is still 30 by 30 rule. Correct me if I'm right or wrong here, Mark. It is still the 30 by 30 rule. If he is online, should be.
Correct. It still is the 30 by 30.
Yeah. I do believe
as you've got that open, Brad, you can probably open resources where it is listed. I believe it should be listed under resources. No.
Is it in documents? There it is. Unless it's in documents and policies. There we go. The Lightning policy is within here.
The heat policy will also be there.
Yeah, correct. So we've got the Lightning policy, the heat policy as well for those where we've got upcoming matches that are going to be quite hot, as well as, and I know there was one over the weekend, but if as referees, there isn't enough room on the squaddy injury report, you also need to put a player injury report here too, of if there's any major injuries on a game. Major injuries mean any injury that involves an ambulance coming to the pitch.
Sorry, Brad, can you just go back through that path and just show the path to player safety again?
Yep, absolutely. So if we went to about documents and policies,
We're just about done.
and it went to
Sorry.
should be rules, regulations, and season information. And it should be under player safety. And it's just within there.
Thank you.
All good?
So if you have a major injury and you still manage to self-transport to hospital, yes, you still need to do a referee injury report. We need to know that you've had an injury. Also, it is if you're going to claim insurance. If we don't have a form that says you hurt yourself, then you will not get insurance of any description.
Other than laws of the game changes, is there any other compulsory training we need to complete? It's just this. So
the 3 sessions, I typed in the response, you must do all 3 sessions, hence why there are QR codes. And if you've already done it live, then you can review and look at it. But if you have not done it live and filled in the QR code, you will need to do it online. It is something that we're looking through before and during the season. Change the sin bin. We've gone back to the old process where it is only 2 yellow cards. So if a player shows dissent to a match official, they are shown a yellow card and sent to the sin bin for 10 minutes. That is in all levels of competitive football. If they come back after that and commit a second cautionable offence, that is a second yellow card, and they are sent off. Vice versa. If they commit a reckless challenge to start with, and then they decide to give you dissent post that, it is a second yellow card and they are sent off. Sin bin is only applied to the first yellow card.
Drinks break, guys. Drinks break is down to the discretion of the referee. Please make sure you stick to the heat policy before doing drinks breaks on games. Preseason games, absolutely you can do as well. Please make sure if you're doing it the first half, you need to have a drinks break in the second half too.
Really important, Brad. I just noticed a conversation. If there is a player that has a broken leg, like on the weekend, you must do the incident report that is attached to Squatty. If you have too many words to put in that, because it is word restricted, you put in that incident report. Please see my form online. That is different to the referee injury report. They are 2 different reports.
So the other thing, and everyone is getting confused about this too, guys, a major injury for us as referees, if we're on the game, is if an ambulance has arrived at the venue and you've had to stop the game to wait for that ambulance to come. That's when you put the report in. If you find out later, like 2 days later, that player had to go to hospital because their arm was broken, that's then on the club to put a report in. Because you as the referee, all you've dealt with is that player has been removed from the field of play. And once they've been removed or subbed off the field of play, and then they take themselves to hospital, that's not anything of yours, okay? Because you've removed them from the game too. It's only if an ambulance comes to the field. But it's really important we complete the paperwork for that case there, please.
There's a question about with regards to the people around the technical area. Can parents, etc., communicate with subs while behind the gate, granted that they don't stay there for long? Referees only have control of the field of play, which is inside the fenced area. They can stand behind the technical area as long as they're not abusive or anything along those lines, they can stay there. It's only when they become abusive or destructive that they need to be moved along, and that's where you have a ground official that will be at your venue. If they're not at your venue, we need to know. and you stop the game and you ask the ground official to move them along.
There is a question, which is a fair question here too. So they were a manager at a game, and an FQ appointed ref did not turn up without any notice, and they stood in as the ref last minute. What should happen to the ref report? So, if you have a FQ ref that, if it's confirmed that they were going to attend their appointment and they were going to go to the game, and you as the manager, the referee ends up not coming in, you need to, if you're the manager of the team, I do believe it's email competitions to let them know, because competitions let us know at the within the referees department as well as the appointments team to remove that referee from the game to start with. With the ref report on the game, because it's preseason, unless anything major's really occurred, if anything major's occurred, you need to provide all the information there. And during the season, it's really important that they provide the information to the competitions, especially if the ref hasn't rocked up. Mark, I don't like you touch point heaps on that sin bin, and it's probably one for discussion in the office today too. So YD yellow card is no longer; it is now just a Y2. So Y2.
Y2 only. Hopefully you'll see YD removed out of squatty. There's a Y2 only for dissent.
Okay, question.
Go on, bro.
I was going to say there's one here. Does a game start if there is no designated ground official? That is a good question, and we need to make sure our officials, as well as spectators, as well as everyone that's involved and participating in the game, is able to be protected too. But it's also up to the referee before a game just to have a discussion with both teams. And I know if you've got back-to-back games, it might be a bit difficult. Have a chat with the managers of both teams and just say, hey, the home team especially, have a discussion, say, we need a ground official, please make sure they're at the referee's room to walk us on and off the field before the game. If one isn't being provided, please don't sit in the referee's room, take it upon yourself, go and explain, we need a ground official. And then when a ground official is shown and presented themselves, then we will start the game. I don't know if you're frozen there, Mark.
No, there was a question about what do senior match officials matches with no ground official. I think the seniors, Duncan, are quite capable of making a decision, as Brad's just gone through. The home team, particularly in senior football, is responsible for a ground official. Competition rules state that if none is provided within 15 minutes of kickoff, the game is abandoned. However, that doesn't mean you hide in the referee's room. That means you proactively try and seek a ground official. Okay, so you proactively go to the canteen and let them know that you need to have a ground official. And we need to know that X club is not providing a ground official, which requires an incident report done through Squatty. Very easy. You can put whatever game it is, no ground official provided until acquired by the referee. It will only take 1, maybe 2 games to be abandoned due to no ground official that'll get round. But competition rules do state without a ground official, the game doesn't necessarily need to go ahead. Doesn't mean you hide.
Mark, on that as well, it says in the rules of competition that home teams and away teams must provide a ground official.
It varies between different competitions. In junior football, yeah. I think in senior football, it's only the home team. And the question
it's in senior football as well.
Okay.
Yeah, junior and corrected. Senior. Yep. Sorry, I wasn't trying.
No, it's all right. No. But it's most important that we're proactive. We don't actually use that as a rod to abandon a game.
All right. I do think we're all good. If we have any further questions, guys, please email us at referees@footballqueensland.com.au and we'll get back to you as soon as possible as well. For the rest of you, though, enjoy the rest of your evening, the rest of your Monday night, and we look forward to seeing you out on the football pitch this season. Okay, enjoy the rest of your Monday night.